Petrolhead Classics video. Today we're going back in time to the mid-1950s and we'll begin by asking ourselves a question. What do you get when you mix Italian design with German reliability? The answer is right here next to me, the Volkswagen Karmann-Ghia. Now you may remember our previous video where we presented three very early split window Beetle, including a beautiful cabriolet designed and built by the German coach builder Karmann. Now in 1953, Karmann commissioned the Italian design house Ghia to develop a coupe based on the Beetle. Within only a couple of months, they came up with this striking design. Both Karmann and the Volkswagen management in Wolfsburg were so impressed that it was decided to put the car into production. The first Karmann-Ghia were built in 1955 for the 1956 model year, and the car was a resounding success. 2 years later, in 1958, the cabriolet version followed. By this time, Volkswagen was already a confident European car manufacturer who had realized the importance of the export markets. Many of these cars ended up in the United States, and the cars were especially popular in California, so it's easy to understand why an open-top version was introduced. Now, although the Karmann was built for a 19-year period with numerous design changes and upgrades, it is the cars of the first generation, like these two examples next to me, that are the most sought after and collectible. They're known as Lowlight, and this is nothing negative in this case, but it refers to the purity and cleanliness of the design and to the fact that the headlights were placed lower than on later models. So let's now have a look at these two lowlights in more detail. The car next to me is one of the very first built. It was assembled in the summer of 1956 and exported to California. It left the factory in this color combination. It's a striking hue called Pelican Red. Now I always wonder how designers come up with these fantasy names for paints, but anyway, it suits the car very, very well. Two-tone paint was popular in the 1950s, and this car has a black roof. It is then contrasted by a light grey leatherette interior. Now, the great thing about this car is that it spent the whole of its life until 2010 in sunny and warm California, which preserved the body in a rust-free condition. What had happened is that someone in the 90s repainted it white with a brown interior, but apart from that, the car was pretty much as it had been from new. It only had 87,000 kilometers on the clock, and it was basically the perfect basis for a restoration. So when the current owner bought the car, he decided to take it back to its original color combination and make sure that it became factory fresh again. So it's basically a nut and bolt restoration, doing the engine, gearbox, mechanics, electrics, and interior. So we have a car in front of us that basically takes us back again in time until 1956 and some lovely tours along the Pacific Coast Highway in California. So this is the second lowlight from the first year of cabriolet production in 1958. So perhaps the customer of the coupe had it for about 2 years and decided that I want to have some sun in my face and got the open top version. This car was also exported to the United States, just like the red one. Its color is sort of a brown red, and again the designers came up with a fantastic name. So this paint is called Colorado. It has a beige leatherette interior, and this is the correct color combination for the car. This is also a very, very original car, beautifully preserved. It has also been restored and upgraded by the current owner to excellent condition. It has a fantastic Eberspecher heater that we will look at a little bit later. It's a very, very special extra, and it's just a beautiful example of an early lowlight cabriolet. So we're going to take this car for a ride a little later, and you just realize what a fantastic place it is to be. I'm a pretty tall guy, but I have plenty of space for my legs. Seats are super comfortable. Actually, Volkswagen made the body of the Karmann-Ghia slightly wider than the Beetle, so you had a bit more space for the driver and for the front seat passenger. The dashboard is painted body color. This particular car has a lovely two-tone interior, which was the way Volkswagen did it back then. Looks beautiful. The carpets make it quite plush. What I also like about this particular car is that the owner decided to keep some of the original details. Now, this is always a balance when you restore a car. Do you want to make everything look factory fresh, or do you keep some of the patina? For instance, here some of the knobs and controls for the radio are still the ones from the factory, so they haven't been replaced with new or new old stock units, which gives the car a nice feel of originality. Okay, let's get a sense of that Californian feeling by taking this lovely 1958 Karmann Cabriolet for a ride. See you guys later. You can really see yourself driving down the Pacific Coast Highway in California, top down, in the sunset, the beautiful lady next to you on your way to dinner. Now we're not quite there at this point in time. We're actually in the city driving around where we're doing the photo shooting, but it's as good as it gets today. Very comfortable, very easy to drive compared to the Beetle. It's a huge step forward in drivability. There's even a back seat in the car for children or adults on a very short journey. Again, the perfect car for the summer. We're lucky today, it's one of the last warm sunny days of the year potentially, and it's just nice to be able to go for a short ride in this beautiful Cabriolet. So I'm now taking my place in the driver's seat of the 1956 Pelican Red Coupe. You sit really comfortably, even being as tall as I am. Plenty of space for legs and head. Comfy seats. You can see why this car was such a success. It has a lovely grey leatherette interior. Now, one of the amazing things with our hobby are the people that are super enthusiastic about a particular model. Now, I bumped in to a group called the Karmann-Ghia Lowlight Society. They focus only on the 1955 to 59 cars. They know every nut and bolt. I sent them some pictures of this car, and of course the first thing they said is beautifully restored, it's in fantastic condition, but they also helped me to point out some of the things that are not completely original, which is of course fine, you know, because it reflects the taste of the current and previous owners, and cars always change in their history. Anyway, we were talking about the interior fabric. Some say it should be a fabric leatherette combination, it should be two-tone, and then someone came up with a 1956 brochure showing that this one colored pattern is also okay. But anyway, I don't want to go into too much detail. What I want to say is, I think if you own a car like this, join a club, join that society, and you just learn so much more about your car. What I also like is that the owner kept some of the original details. So this is the steering wheel that was on the car when it left the factory, the gear lever, some of the radio controls have just been very, very carefully refurbished but not replaced with new items. And there's also a lovely sticker here showing you to take care when you open the door, what is the correct tire pressure, etc., etc. Just a very, very comfortable place to be, and you feel like you're back again in 1956. As I mentioned earlier, the cars look like $1 million, but they're actually based on very humble Beetle mechanics. The floor pan is from the lesser car, and the engine is also more or less the same, but it offers 30 horsepower instead of 25 in the early Beetles. So you got a little bit more power, but this is again about touring and not about absolute speed. The red car here from 1956 has a carburetor from a slightly more modern car, otherwise it's also very original. The Colorado brown car is very original in this respect, and what makes it special is that it has a lovely extra in form of this Eberspecher additional heating. So this would keep you warm in the winter if you wanted to take the car out for a ride with the top down. These were very effective and actually quite a popular extra, because to be quite honest, the original heating in the Beetle and the Karmann-Ghia was not the best for a cold day. So I hope you enjoyed this short video with these two Lowlight highlights. Now the only question remaining, of course, will you go for the coupé or the cabriolet? Or why not take both and you're settled for any weather? But whichever one you choose, these two cars will take you back to the mid-1950s, the aura of freedom, the sun shining on you, California, hope, prosperity. They're just beautiful cars, they're very rare. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for the next one.